Today's topic is character design. Hello everyone, it's the Lila Zebra back again, and this is my first long form video. Hopefully it uploads without any problems, because in the past I have had problems with uploading long form videos. So today I'll be talking about character design, how I design a character, what is character design, and what is the good fundamentals to include in your design for a character. First off, what does character design actually mean? The way I understand it is like the way you design a character that represents them and their likes, their abilities, and their environments. However, the professional term of character design is the creative process of conceptualizing and visualizing a character's personality, backstory, and physical traits for animation, games, comics, and illustration. Character design can be portrayed through shape language, color palettes, and silhouettes. So mostly when I do color designs, when I'm designing an aggressive character like Yuma here, I use sharper lines, mostly evident on her hair and her shoulders. But when I'm creating a more docile and friendly character, I would use rounder lines, maybe like rounder hair, the opposite of Yuma's, and others. For people who are mostly like a mixture of both, I would use a mixture of sharp lines and rounder lines as well. But if you want, you can check more professional understandings of this. This is just the way I understand character design. And an important thing to note before we get started on actually learning about character design is that character design can be interpreted in many ways, and there's no such thing as a bad character design. Well, I mean, in some cases, it wouldn't really fit, and maybe you would have to adjust it a bit, but ugly doesn't always necessarily mean bad. An ugly character design can be used to portray a feeling of disgust or like to make the consumer feel a certain way, which would obviously be like using the correct function of what it was meant to do. So that would be good character design, right? So let's get talking on how I do my process of character design and actually drawing and mapping out a character. So first, with my sketches, I make sure to do the rough body sketch first, making sure that everything is nice and it actually portrays how the character would pose and like the structure and posture. It's very important to know that characters won't always be elegant, formal, and regal. Yuma here is more gruff and hot-headed, so she obviously wouldn't be like elegant and formal. But with Fillion, for another example, she is like poised, and I don't really know what poise means, but she's just like stands with a straight posture. But Yuma here is more slouched. That's also an important thing to know. With my sketches, I tend to do different colors for the clothing, hair, and face, so I can easily determine what it is when I'm doing line art. Actually, it really helps because sometimes when all of the lines are the same colors, you get mixed up. I still sometimes get mixed up even with the different colors, but it's very easier to distinguish which is what, and sometimes you can even go back to your sketch just to check. Yuma is her color palette. I consisted of reds, warm tones, and more darker colors. That's because she is more like a character who really isn't kind and stuff. So I use darker colors and like red tones and warm tones to portray how she can be quite like hot-headed. I've already said this before, I know, but I feel like it just perfectly portrays that she's aggressive and dangerous, because different colors can represent different things. Color in design is very important, and it can help like convey personality, emotions, and alignment. So warm colors typically signify energy, passion, or danger. For example, red here means danger, yellow can maybe mean like energy, and orange maybe passion, or you can use any for each of the words provided. But you should also keep in mind that good character design also depends on the environment, which will be something I'm covering later on in the video. But cool colors like blue, green, or purple can suggest calm, intelligence, or magic. In most magical settings, in animes and other media I've consumed, I mostly see blues and purples because that just gives a magical feeling. Greens can be used for like mystical forests, which I'm very fond of, honestly. And I mostly see greens and blues used for intelligence. It shows that people are strong-willed. Like in a webcomic, Patron of the Villains, one of the intelligent characters is green and another is blue. And then, yeah. Environment is also a very important value to know. I know I'm saying all of this is very important because it is. Everything contributes to a good character design. You need to keep all of these things in mind so you know exactly what you're doing, so it's easier for people to understand. For example, in a cold climate, unless a character has an innate ability that can maybe make them warmer or something that affects them physically or mentally, they would mostly have layers of clothing to keep warm and, to avoid death. And then in more of a hotter or warm climate, there would probably be less layers of clothing. Even if there are less layers of clothing, you can still make them very covered, maybe give them covering clothes. It doesn't always have to be cropped or netted. Yuma here is situated into a desert in a post-apocalypse theme, and I know I said that environment suits a lot, but since Yuma fights a lot, I didn't actually give her armor. But the thing is, the net is kind of like a mystical mesh enchanted that can block attacks, but it wears down over time, so you have to keep on enchanting it. That is in my eyes a good character design, because helps characters. I can show some of my drawings that I think have excellent character design at the end, and maybe explain why I think in the description or comments, so let me know if you want me to do that. Yeah. One thing that I don't think necessarily translates to good character design, but is also a fun thing to keep in mind or use, is symbolism or foreshadowing. I mean, you don't even have to include it all the time. With Yuma, I only added a moon to represent her religion, which I wouldn't really say is symbolism or foreshadowing, to be honest. But symbolism can be very fun to use, like different colors as I explained, or flowers in flower language, or other things, like things relating to your story that you made up yourself. I think it's very fun to add, and adds an air of mystery and fun and excitement. Foreshadowing can be used in symbolism as well, which is really fun as well. I think it's really nice to add things that keeps people guessing and add something to look forward to. But I think one of my most important tips for character design is have fun with it and try to experiment a lot. Most of the time I used to stay in my comfort zone with character design and try to keep it simple, reusing different ideas and things, which is completely fine if that's what you want to go for. But I think it's also fun to try out new things and, have fun with it and actually enjoy designing characters. Because if you enjoy it, then you're probably going to stop doing it. And it should be something you should enjoy and will be able to take at your own pace. But when it comes to character design is a very important detail with characters, including their backstories. Though backstories contribute a lot to characters, it also contributes a lot to their character design, which in turn contributes a lot to the actual detail and overall experience that you'll get. Character design can leave you satisfied or unsatisfied with a character, but it's just based on your perspective and how you interpret things. I think it's fun to have vague character design or specific character design that people can still interpret different things from it and have fun. So to take away from this video, just have fun, be yourself, and learn. Bye!